Once upon a time, in a small village, six blind men were told by the villagers that an elephant had arrived in the area. These men had never encountered an elephant before, so they were curious to understand what it was like. They decided to go to the elephant and touch it to learn more about it, relying on their sense of touch alone. The villagers gathered around as the blind men approached the elephant, each eager to discover what this mysterious creature was like. But each blind man, relying on his own limited experience and perspective, touched a different part of the elephant's body. The first man, standing at the front of the elephant, reached out and touched its trunk. His fingers traced the long, flexible shape, and he confidently declared, "The elephant is like a thick, flexible snake." The second man, standing near the elephant's ear, felt the large, flapping ear. He ran his hands over its surface, feeling the broad and thin shape, and said, "No, no, the elephant is like a huge fan, wide and fluttering." The third man, touching the elephant's leg, felt the sturdy, round and muscular limb. He felt the strength in its form and insisted, "You're both wrong. The elephant is like a great tree trunk, solid and firm." The fourth man, standing beside the elephant's side, felt the vast, smooth surface of the elephant's body. He ran his hands over the broad side and exclaimed, "The elephant is like a wall, flat and unyielding." The fifth man, reaching out to touch the elephant's tusk, felt the smooth, sharp surface of the tusk and declared, "You are all mistaken. The elephant is like a spear, long and pointed." Finally, the sixth man, standing behind the elephant, reached out and touched its tail. He grasped it and said, "The elephant is like a rope, long and thin." As each man described what he had touched, the disagreement grew louder. "It's a snake," cried the first man. "It's a fan," shouted the second. "No, it's a tree trunk," argued the third. "It's a wall," insisted the fourth. "It's a spear," said the fifth. "It's a rope," declared the sixth. The argument escalated until they began to fight. Each man determined that he alone was right. None of them would listen to the others, for each was convinced that his own experience, based on what he had touched, was the complete truth. At that moment, a wise man who had been watching the scene approached them. With a calm and knowing smile, he said, "You are all correct, and yet you are all wrong." The blind men stopped arguing and turned to look at the wise man, puzzled. The wise man continued, "Each of you has touched only a part of the elephant. The truth of the elephant cannot be understood by only one piece. The elephant is not just a snake or a fan or a tree trunk or a wall or a spear or a rope. It is all these things and more. To understand the elephant fully, you must see the whole of it, not just the part that you have experienced." The blind men fell silent, and slowly a realization began to dawn upon them. They had each seen only a limited portion of the elephant and had assumed that their perception was the complete truth. Now, they understood that their individual perspectives, though not wrong, were incomplete. The wise man smiled and said, "In the same way, each person sees the world through their own limited perspective. Our individual experiences are like the parts of the elephant. We each have a piece of the truth, but none of us can claim to have the whole truth. To understand life and the world around us fully, we must look beyond our limited perspectives and embrace the bigger picture." The story of the blind men and the elephant teaches us several important lessons. Limitations of perception. Our individual experiences shape how we perceive the world. Just like the blind men, we may understand only a small part of the whole reality. Our senses and experiences limit us to seeing fragments of the truth. Humility and knowledge. The blind men's argument arose from their belief that they had grasped the entire truth. The story teaches us the importance of humility, recognizing that our own perceptions are limited and that we cannot know everything from a single perspective. Unity in diversity. Although the blind men saw different aspects of the elephant, they were all describing the same creature. This reminds us that despite our differences, we are all part of a greater whole. We must learn to appreciate the different perspectives others bring to the table. the bigger picture. To understand life in its entirety, we must look beyond our narrow views. Wisdom comes from acknowledging that no one person has all the answers, and true understanding comes from expanding our view and seeing the interconnectedness of all things. The importance of listening. The blind men argued loudly because they didn't listen to each other. In the same way, our world can be full of noise, where everyone is trying to prove their own point on in your life. Have you ever found yourself stuck in an argument because of your limited perspective? Let's take a moment to reflect. What happens when we step back and look at the bigger picture? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and share with someone who might need to hear this message today. Subscribe for more stories that open your mind and bring wisdom into your life. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the teachings of life and spirituality, check out our other videos. Together, let's explore the truth beyond what meets the eye.